Let's take a look at zoning in New York City.
Zoning is a set of rules made by elected and appointed officials that regulate development. Through zoning laws, local governments essentially determine what buildings can be built and where, often splitting areas into categories like residential, commercial, industrial, and more. When New York City's zoning code was created in 1916, it was 85 pages long. When it was revamped in 1961, the new resolution was 539 pages. Since then, another 3,436 pages of amendments have been added. In New York today, there are about 150 different zoning types in use around the city. Complex and restrictive zoning has become an important part of the housing crisis. In a housing crisis and shortage, public policy should ensure that land where apartments are permitted is plentiful, not scarce and expensive. Yet long-standing zoning and land use policies are geared to do exactly the opposite, suppressing multifamily housing creation in the places that need it most. Against the interest of NIMBY homeowners, to rapidly bring down rental costs, we need to be able to rezone certain neighborhoods to build more housing with greater speed and combine these efforts with socialist demands like rent control and the construction of public and cooperative housing to ensure affordability. Yes, I said that the government needs to get back in the business of housing construction.
Now, let's first realize that the MTA, the Metropolitan Transit Authority, which operates all of the trains and buses in New York City, is state-owned. And why is it state-owned? Because although there is private interest, many of the routes tend to be unprofitable and therefore are considered a public good. You still need to reach the outskirts of the city, all of the suburbs, including Long Island, so that people can transit the city in an effective and cost-efficient manner. Now, when we switch gears back to housing, I'll tell you anecdotally that the zoning laws that we have in New York City are as obtuse as any. Now, that's part and parcel that we have extremely unique infrastructure here. You might have a 2-story building next to a 3-story, next to a 4-story. You might have a commercial space next to a residential space. You might have a commercial space in a residential space, vice versa. But all these zoning laws do is restrict our ability to provide supply. And when we have a shortage of housing to this magnitude, not only in New York City, but around the United States, you have to look back at the government and say, why are you being so restrictive? Now, it's not our jobs to be cynics, but there probably is a hidden agenda or some ulterior motive as to why we can build this type of property here or this class of housing here and not there. So this red tape and these laws largely have to be standardized and done away with. And to give power to the city to build housing where it's needed based on demand makes the most sense, because many of these projects will be deemed unprofitable. Therefore, they will lack private interest and investment. That's when the government has to come in, just like the MTA. Again, this is just food for thought, but it's our responsibility as good stewards to look at each one of these initiatives on a case-by-case basis, try to understand them to the best of our ability, and see if we should implement or not, rather than just calling it socialist, communist, dismissing it, and walking away. Let me know your thoughts.